How's it going, everyone? So today's video, I wanted to talk about the reasons why I decided to buy my first revolver, my first gun. If you missed my last video, you can check it out. If you missed it, I basically bought my first ever handgun. And obviously, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, some other stuff that's been going on in society. Obviously, the main reason why anyone buys a gun is protection. Right? Home invasions, if you have a carry conceal license, if you're on the street, especially late night, uh, especially if you're a female, it can happen to a male too, but if you're a female, guy, someone can just come up to you while you're at the ATM machine. My other sister, my third oldest sister, she got her purse snatched. There's just like things that can just happen in an instant. So having a gun could definitely be a deterrent. You might not even have to fire off your weapon. Just that the image of having a weapon could be enough to just make the person flee. It's not always like the movies. So obviously protection is the number one thing. I've been wanting to get a firearm for a while. It wasn't like on a high priority, hence I had put it off for a while. But over the years, I always told my wife, yeah, eventually I want to get a firearm. But since 2020 is hit, year 2020, with all the crap that's been going on with the COVID and then the mandatory lockdowns and now with the Black Lives Matter movement, there's a lot of craziness going on, all the looting, all the rioting. Now, I'm not going to sit here in front and say that there's protesters literally down my street and they're about to intrude on our property. The chances of that happening, as far as I can tell, is pretty nil. But this isn't to say that it can't ever happen, or just any type of home robbery. This area is pretty safe, but I'm on. I get alerts on Nextdoor, and there have been some, mostly like car thefts and stuff like that. But there have been some people that have reported mysterious people ringing doorbells at nighttime, some suspicious activity and stuff like that. And I just want to be prepared and make sure, especially whether I'm home or not, that my number one duty is to protect my family. I'll protect myself, but I definitely will die for my family if I have to, and they have to go through me before. So that's obviously the main reason. The other reason I wanted to buy a gun is this whole notion of defunding the police, which I think is a crock of crap, if you ask me. It's ironic how a lot of these looters, it's been documented, some of these looters and rioters that got injured because someone actually fought back. These are the same people that say defund the police, yet they're the ones, when they get hurt, they want to call the police. Who are you going to call for the people that are for defunding the police? Who are you going to call when you get robbed? Who are you going to call when someone breaks into your house, puts duct tape over your mouth, puts a knife to your throat, and you don't have a weapon because you're anti-gun and you have nothing? Oh, I'm gonna call the cops. Well, it could be too late, right? I'm not willing to take that risk. Now, I'm not here to bash anyone that doesn't have a gun. That has nothing to do with that. You could do all sorts of things: get an alarm system, get a watchdog, get a dog, be a part of the neighborhood watch program. I'm all for that. So I'm 100% not hating on people that don't have guns. That is not the point of this video. I'm just saying it helps me sleep better at night. And one thing I did want to say is I read the book Freakonomics years ago, so the data could be outdated. But when I read it, um, they stated that the authors stated that if you own a swimming pool, that is more deadly and more risky for a child because of the unfortunate drownings that occur. So basically, if you have a child, there's a higher chance that they're going to die from a drowning than from opening up your firearm and accidentally shooting themselves, based on the numbers. So just a little bit of tidbit of information if anyone tries to lecture you, and especially if they have a swimming pool. Um, so I think last but not least, before I depart, I think if you're noticing the whole narrative of just people not being, not everyone, but I would say a lot of the Black Lives Matter movement that's starting it. A lot of people on the left, they are demolishing monuments. You've seen it, trying to get rid of all our history and being very anti-American, stating that America is systemically racist, which I 100% don't believe to be the case at all. I think the argument is weak at best. There are some bigots, there are racists, there are bad people on this planet. That's going to happen, but to say that it's systemic and it's holding everyone back, including African Americans, is just 100% not the case. To me, it's just kind of like a blame game, and for them to try to get your vote. But kind of losing my train of thought. The other thing I want to say is I'm a big proponent in the U.S. Constitution, and I will admit that I kind of feel even more proud. I mean, maybe it's because like I feel like my constitutional rights are slowly being taken away and stripped away with the whole lockdowns, and now with the whole cancel culture and censorship. I feel like the First Amendment's being taken out. Governor Gavin Newsom of California, he says you can go to church, but you can't sing, you can't praise. What's the point of? That's one of the main things you go to church for, is to sing and to bond. But they're putting these draconian measures. You can do that, but his winery, he owns a winery in Napa. His winery is open though, and yet if it's Black Lives Matter, it's okay to. The corona just doesn't really matter at that point, right? It's just totally hypocritical. But anyway, I feel like, with the First Amendment being stripped away, and then also the Second Amendment, often in a lot of states, California is very anti-gun. I just feel like putting my chest down and saying, you know what, I am proud to be an American. I don't believe it to be systemically racist, and a lot of people that are very successful, like Pharrell Williams. He wanted to get rid of July 4th, Independence Day. The guy's worth like $200 million, yet he says that we have problems. It's like, if you don't like America, then you should just get out. You're benefiting, a lot of these celebrities are benefiting from all the privileges of being in America, yet they're the first ones to say, oh, America's so bad, America's so bad. And the worst part is they're teaching the younger generation this, brainwashing them into thinking that George Washington is so bad, so we got to just get rid of the forefathers, on Mount Rushmore. What are they teaching our kids? It's just, it's unbelievable. And, I'm proud to be an American. I'm going to assert my amendments, my First Amendment, my Second Amendment, all the other ones, and that's just the way it goes. So maybe that's another reason why I decided to get a gun, It's going to change anything? Probably not, but it's something that I'm going to assert, and maybe other people will follow along with me speaking up in my First Amendment. People will follow, no matter how small following I have or whoever I touch or offend, because I just don't really care at this point. I'm not going to go on without a fight. Last but not least, history always has a way of repeating itself. You've heard that before, and we've gone through many, many wars over the years. And if you think that we won't ever have another civil war, I'm 40 years old. I don't know how long I'm going to live. Most of you guys are around my age. If you don't think that a civil war, another war could happen amongst us within the United States, I would say you're a little bit gullible, because it 100% can happen. And how do you think wars are won? It's not with negotiating. You could try to do it the peaceful way, but sometimes when push comes to shove, you gotta do it by force, and that is with a weapon. Now, I'm not saying it's gonna be Armageddon anytime soon. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying to get your grenade launchers and your pistols and your semi-automatics and your AR-15s ready, but it's a scary thing when you're in certain cities that these looters are coming, and they're going to private businesses, they're destroying stuff, and you see it on footage where there is no police to be found because they're getting defunded. Over the 4th of July weekend, you can confirm this data, but I'll double check it if I can. From a famous YouTuber mentioned that 300 plus policemen, they called in sick at the LAPD. Not shocking, You're gonna defund them. If they make any type of arrest, it gets filmed, they're gonna get they're going to be the poster child for being a racist. And I'm not defending the corrupt ones. I'm just saying you got a target on your back right now. So there's 300 of them called in. So who are you going to call? You're not going to call Ghostbusters when something happens. So you better be, if you're for defunding the police, you better have a game plan, because I'm not for that. I just can just protect me and my family and my loved ones, and that's it. So that's my time. I went off a little bit on a rant, but that's just the way it goes. Protect your rights, because freedom, even though we have freedom, you have to work for it. You can't just take it for granted, because if you go to socialism or communism, you turn into that, you're gonna have to shoot your way back out of socialism. You can vote yourself into socialism. Somebody said this: you can vote yourself into socialism, but you're gonna have to shoot your way out. So that's not pretty. That's my time. Thanks for watching. Bye.